Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to a new paper crafting video right here on my YouTube channel. Today I am playing with the June Club Kits from Spellbinders. Yes, I know, it's already July, and you should be watching the July Club Kits video, but that's coming soon. So right now I am sharing with you the large die of the month called Summertime Vacay. It is a really fun summery die set, and I know I'm late in getting this video out, and that is because of my summertime vacay. I was gone for about 2 weeks, and so everything just got pushed back and pushed back with lots of work to do when I got home. I'm sure you understand how you need a vacation from your vacation when you get home, but there's no time because you have to catch up with everything that you already have missed out on. Yeah, so that's what happened, and I am still going to share these club kits because I love them. So here I am creating or putting together all the die cut pieces. I like to show them all to you and how they work because sometimes these intricate detailed dies that Spellbinders comes out with can be confusing as to what part goes with what and how they go together. So I like to show that. You can see that here. I'm just kind of sorting everything out, and then I'll put it together and then we'll make a card. So it creates, you can see a little like beach scene or like even on a little tiny patch of sand. So here is the water part, and there's just a die to cut the top of your cardstock. And I'm pouncing on some white ink here to kind of give it a little bit of visual interest, but sneak peek, I don't end up using this exact panel. So I'll actually show you two different ways to do the water that I thought were fun ideas. So then you have this piece right here that really gives it that kind of foamy look, which by the way, my vacation I just took was at the ocean and there was plenty of foam in the water and it looked just like this. So I love the realistic feel of the Spellbinders dies. So then we have our little beach umbrella right here. There's like embossed lines in the bottom piece. So I just took a Copic marker and made a spot for a shadow to really intensify this 3D kind of look. And then the pieces on top, I popped them up. So once I made this umbrella with these soft colors, I was so in love with it. I had to change my ocean part to match. So I redid that. I did not like the dark blue, but I wanted to give it a little bit more visual interest. So I'm bringing in the Aqualicious ink from Altenew and blending a little bit on the bottom to make that part darker. And it's really cute, but in the end, it actually ends up getting trimmed off. So I like how that looks and it's a great idea. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white. You can see it's super thick. I add a little water to it and then I just drag it on the edge of my little mat here, and that creates a really fine mist of splatter with that scraggly paintbrush. Okay, so I want to do some more ink blending for my background, but in order to like figure out where I want all the colors to go, I just need to kind of lay out all my die cuts, start making the scene so I get a feel for where to put what color. So I'm going to start with some ink blending behind my sun here, and so I'm laying that out where I want it to go, and I'm going to start with some Citrus Burst, and I'll just leave the sun there till I'm ready to ink blend, and then I'm going to put that behind the sun to kind of give it like a glow coming from behind the sun. So that is with this kind of really light yellow, and then I'm coming in with a really light orange, so these colors are going to blend really well together, and then you'll see when I'm doing this, it's coming out really light. It's a little splotchy in some parts, but I will go over it a second time, and that's usually where the magic really comes together with ink blending. And then I am doing some blush ink, so a little bit of a early sunset look, and it just really kind of goes with the pastel colors that I chose for the rest of my card, and I'm loving it. So also when I do a sky, I don't mind if there's some darker areas and lighter areas because that makes it feel like there's you know, light clouds in the sky. So anyways, here is the finished look after I did another layer, and then again I'm going to lay out all my things and make sure I've got it spaced how I want before I glue things down. Like I wanted to see, do I want one chair? Do I want two chairs? And then once I have it all figured out, then I'll commit and go in and adhere everything down. So I realized that my ocean part was a little bit too big, so I just glued it down with some of it hanging off the bottom, and then I can go in and trim that off, which just so happens to be the ink blended part. So that's kind of sad, but I wanted to show you, even with my foam squares on this umbrella, I can still have the stand or the pole of the umbrella go up through there and poke out the top. In the end, I did trim that little white nubbin off the top, but you could have some of it show too. Either way. All right, so the clouds are the only thing that's not getting glued down. I went ahead and popped up those two clouds right there, and then I trimmed off the larger one, and I realized, oh my word, I could make a third cloud and have it kind of come in from the side. So I did that, and I thought it was super cute, that little extra touch that my sky needed. And then let's set to trimming off all the things. I was sad about the ink blended part of the ocean. I thought it looked really cool. So you know, I could always go back and just do a touch more on there, but I just decided to leave it because I had that really nice splatter that I loved, so it was fine. Okay, we need a sentiment, so I'm bringing in the Glimmer Kit of the month, which is called Summertime Sentiments, and here you can see it's going to hot foil all the sentiments at once, and then we have a die that's going to die cut all of them out at once, and I have this gorgeous foil that's like a soft turquoise color with an opalescent finish. It's so good. I don't remember the name of it because that is not my strong suit, but I will link it for you below. So here you can see how delish these are. It's such a fun pop of interest on this card, that little bit of shine, and I have all these other sentiments ready to go for other cards, which makes me super happy. So I'm sticking this down, and I have it go right across the cloud and to the edge of the card, and it says it's time to make summertime memories. So then we'll add this onto a card base. I don't know if you noticed, but this card is rather large. It is a 5x7 card, so my card base there is 10 inches by 7 inches, scored at 5 inches. Then my front panel, I always like a little white border showing around the edge, so that white panel is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So there's my finished card, number 1 with the large die of the month. Now we're going to play with 3 other club kits to make card number 2. This is the stencil of the month for June, Summertime Graphics. It's actually a 5-piece set. These other 2 stencils I don't end up using, but you can make a little rainbow scene or a little cloud scene with those. It's pretty cool, but these 3 right here are going to make a beach ball background, which I just thought was super fun. They're going to layer up and give you an entire background of multicolored beach balls. It's so cute, right? Okay, so we're going to do the first layer, just taping on my A2 size panel to the back of the stencil. It's really easy to do. You don't have to have any special stencil equipment, but if you have that, do that, right? Okay, I am using Rouge ink and a large blending style brush to put the ink on and get really quick coverage. Boom, there's layer number 1. Then we'll tape on layer number 2. I found these very easy to line up, and then I'm going to put my second color in, which is going to be Dewdrop ink, and it's going to be this really high contrast, but still that kind of summery pastel color that kind of reminds me of, I don't know, Florida or something. I don't know why. Pastels, I guess. All right, so there's layer number 2. You can see the beach balls have come to life, but to give it that finishing touch, we need the third stencil. It's going to put the little end on the beach ball, and I'm using that Aqualicious ink again. Look at how this turned out. Isn't it cute? Love it. So I'm going to set that aside and start working with the stamp and coordinating die set of the month called Paradise Resort. I thought this image was so cute that you can take the keychain and have a little image you can add to the center of it, and you could probably stamp this on top of the keychain if you wanted to do that, but there's also dies to cut it out, and you get to choose when you subscribe to the stamp set of the month whether or not you want the die set or you just want the stamp set. So that's pretty cool. You can personalize it to how you like to craft. So we're going to color this out now. I'm using Copic markers, and I'm starting with C2 as my lightest color, at least what I thought was going to be my lightest color, but I will bring in a lighter one. All right, so then my darkest is C6. This is going to be that really dark shadow around the edge, and I'm pretty much literally just like tracing the outer edge of the entire keychain. I will go over those little lines to give them a little bit of a shadow as well. And then we'll bring in the mid-tone marker to kind of start blending everything out and softening up those edges. This is C4. I have a ton of gray markers. Do you guys use your grays a lot? I do. I have the cool grays, the warm grays, the neutral grays, and the tonal gray markers. I had bought a big set and it just happened to have all the grays in it. And I'm not sad about it because I use the grays a lot. A lot. All right, so there's C2, and I think I do, yeah, I bring in C0. And again, this just really helps soften out the edge, even though a lot of this is going to be covered up by that cute little sun image that I'm going to put in the center. I'm going to use the same color combination and markers to do my little key. I thought it's really cute. I really feel like this is like a souvenir. Like you might go into a gift shop and buy a little keychain as a remembrance of your trip. Do any of you do that? I've actually have two keychains I've bought on trips. One was from the Air Museum, the Smithsonian like Air and Space Museum. They had the space shuttle there, and like it was so cool. I loved it so much. And then that one broke, and then I got one from Crater Lake. This is my other keychain that I have, and I don't know, I like it. It helps me like remember my vacation in a small little way. So I thought this was really fun. All right, so now we're going to color up the fun part of the keychain, which is the sun and all the rays bursting out. It's got clouds and water, and I can color this up to match my background. So I'm going to add, of course, yellow for the sun, but then we've got the water there with the rays reflecting onto it. So I'm going to make it kind of that rouge color. And then the clouds, I'll give just a little tiny accent of the teal. So it's going to look great and be like a fun summer vacation kind of vibe, I think. And you can see this is really easy to color up because the images are just so small. You can get away with 2 or 3 color blends on the sun area and even one marker on all the rest. So I am using YR02 for my water, and I actually do end up doing 2 because I'm going to color like the top half lighter, or I think that I ended up doing the top half darker and the bottom half lighter with my YR65 as the darker color. So just that kind of harsh line between the two really has that kind of summertime vacation vibe like you'd see on a t-shirt or something, a real graphic look. Yeah. All right, so for the clouds, I use BG53 just to outline them. And then it's time to give a little accent to all the things with my white Jelly Roll pen, and that adds the shine. I love it. Okay, so then, like I said, you can choose whether or not you want to get the coordinating dies to go with this set, which I love. I love having dies. Do you? Or do you like fussy cutting? Or maybe you're an electronic paper cutter. You let me know which you like. All right, so here's the die to cut out the keychain. It's going to cut out like the center of the key ring and the center of the key. So I love that. And then the shape that cuts out the decorative portion of the keychain, you could use that die all by itself, which I love multi-purpose. So when I mounted that decorative piece to my keychain, I popped it up with some foam squares. Now, while I was doing the coloring, I had this idea to cover my beach ball background pattern with Versamark ink. That's that sticky ink that you can emboss with. And once the entire thing was covered, I brought in my Frosted Crystal Distress embossing powder. Now, this is not going to give you a smooth look at all. What I thought it would kind of look like is make the whole panel look a touch wet. And I thought it would be a fun kind of vibe for this. So now I just covered the whole thing, and then I'm heat setting it or melting that powder. So it's going to be melted and raised up, and it has a touch of shine, but it also has like a dimply look. And if you feel this, it kind of has the feel of like a fake leather purse. It's very cool. I love how the effect it kind of gave my background. All right, so I stamped my sentiment, Hello from Paradise, onto some coordinating cardstock, just some for my stash that I thought it would go well with everything I was using, and then embossed that with white powder so it really pop off of that background. And there is a die to cut this out as well, so I'm going to bubble cut around that. I always have trouble with my bubble cutting where I have too much of the paper at the top. Always the top. I try to compensate every time, but no. always at the top. So we're going to leave that and move on to kind of the pieces on my card that are going to anchor all the things. So I have some light yellow cardstock that I wrapped some vellum around, and then I'm mounting that to some cardstock that I feel is going to really match the color in the beach ball, in the ocean waves, and then I'm going to attach my sentiment to my keychain, but I'm not sticking it down to the panel yet because I'm bringing in the wax seal of the month, Sun and Waves, and this foil pack. It's a variety pack. It's so awesome. It has all those teal colors in it and some gold. So I'm going to do the lightest color and the medium color only. I could kind of, pick and choose. I decided I didn't really want some gold in there. So I'll let those melt out, and then once that's melted, I'm going to pour it right onto my cardstock. And I'm pouring it onto the vellum, so if I don't like it, I can peel it off. And teaser alert, I didn't like it. I end up peeling it off. So here's the big reveal. It just got a little bit too close to the top. It doesn't have that like ridge all the way around the edge. So once you peel this off, you can reuse it. I just cut it up, put it back in there, melt it again. I decided I wanted a little bit more wax, so I put in one of the darker ones, and I really like that addition of the darker color. So we'll try this again, pour it out, do the whole wax seal thing one more time. And you can see here that darker color, it's good. So this came out so much better. And then I'm just going to build the rest of my elements around that. I kind of tucked the keychain up against it, and then I'm adhering all the things down, and that's going to be like the main focus of my card, but I made it smaller so that beach ball background can still shine. And since I'm gluing it down to that embossed background, I added a little bit of double-sided tape along with my glue to make sure it's really going to stick there and not pop up later. I don't like that. I got to have good adhesion. All right, so we'll get that straight, and then it's time to embellish. I have some sequins here, some like confetti pieces that are iridescent, so they're just going to have this subtle shine to them and not be too busy on my card, and I like that. Plus, I just love embellishment, so you got to have that, right? Yeah, and these are nice and thin. They're not going to, like, cause you to need more postage, although the wax seal might. It might. All right, so we're adding that to an A2 size card base, and then I love glaze. So I am going to glaze the top of this keychain to give it kind of that enamel look, and I'll just fill the entire thing in, flooding it with the glaze all the way around. And I always feel like glaze is an opportunity to add glitter to your card. So I am going to bring in my rock candy glitter and just put the tiniest bit over the top to give it that extra something special. I would totally buy this keychain. I would, especially if it was glittery, Yeah, so we'll let that dry, and here's what it looks like. That glaze is going to dry completely crystal clear, and you can see the glitter like suspended in it. This card has so many different textures. It makes me so happy. I love texture and dimension on my cards. So many like visual interests. Okay, let's move on to card number 3, the last card of the day, or really this video. I'm making cards after this, right? This is the 3D embossing folder, Summertime Citrus Fun. I know in last month's card video for Spellbinders, I did the same technique. Okay, I painted my embossing folder, but I didn't actually show it. It was in a live video, and I loved it so much, I wanted to show it here again. Plus this like citrus paint, lemons, I don't remember what it's called, Lemon by Arteza is so good. Do you see like it has the iridescent quality to it? And on this 3D embossing folder, oh, I mean, I would just like hold and have that paper forever. But I decided to make a shaker with it. So I cut the middle out, which, it was embossed, so that can like press out some of the detail in your embossing. So if you just put it back into the embossing folder, you can kind of lock it in place and run it through again and give it more of that detail back if you felt like it needed it. So I'll glue a window sheet to the back of this and then go around that window with my foam tape so I can add shaker bits here, and making sure that they touch at the ends is super important so none of my shaker bits can escape. I also die cut out with 2 circle dies a little ring to accent the windows. Also, it kind of gives it that like lemon rind type of feel. And these are the shaker bits I'm going to use inside. I've got a mix of clay bits, confetti bits, and these little tiny yellow beads. And I'm just adding it in there till I feel like it's pretty full. There's not much going on in the background behind us. Like, it doesn't need to be seen, although I am making the background with glitter paper for fun. So then it's time to remove the backing off of the foam tape. I'm also throwing on a little bit of liquid glue because glitter paper, and you know, my deal with good adhesion. So we'll stick that on to cover that up, and then we've got our shaker. It's, you know, pretty easy. Once you get the hang of a shaker, they're pretty easy to make. So there we have it, full of those cute shaker bits. Then this entire panel is getting added onto another 5x7 card base. So I've got another big card. With these large embossing folders, it is so hard for me to make a smaller embossed panel. I should really challenge myself because I almost always make a 5x7 card with those big embossing folders. I just feel like I have to. So I brought back those hot foiled sentiments. There was one in there that says hello friend, and then I brought in a super old Spellbinders large die of the month that was an alphabet. I don't think it's available anymore, but it's what I had, and I really wanted to spell out the word zest. So it says, hello, zest friend. I don't know, it made me happy, so I did it. And the like turquoise with all that yellow, it's so like fresh and bright. It makes me happy. So there is my zesty shaker card. What do you think? I really wish I would have time to play with the Better Press. It is amazing, and the regular embossing folder, but I just ran out of time. So I'm bringing this to you so I can move on to the July club kits. Now, in my last video, I mentioned I was giving away some backgrounds, and I'm going to have the winner of the backgrounds on the screen. If that's you, make sure that you check your YouTube messages because I will have messaged you to let you know you're the winner, and then you can email me and we'll get them sent out to you. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all again very soon with the July Club Kits video. I can't wait. Happy stamping. Bye.